Hello! Surprise bitch. Bet you thought you'd seen the last of me. Always start with a meme. Strong beginning. Good so far. I'm gonna start vlogging again. That's exciting. There's gonna be weekly videos. I'm hype. You should be hyped too. And I've already actually made a couple of sweet, wholesome videos. However, before we start, you're gonna need a little bit of context. So we're gonna talk about what happened, and then we're gonna talk about what's gonna happen. Last time we spoke, it was like early January. I was in my first year of university. Everything was fine, except my health. This is where the problem. So, I've had this illness called ME for 5.5 years. And it was like really bad at the beginning and I absolutely couldn't do anything and I was bedridden for like a year. After that, it started to get progressively better over time. When I was around 17, I had to go to bed every single day at 5 p.m. right after I came home from school, and I couldn't do any sports and I couldn't really go out. But like, other than that, other than what I just acknowledge as some pretty drastic life things, I was living a normal-ish life. Like, I was able to go into school most days, although I did have to leave early often. So okay, I wasn't the normal-ish life was a lie, scratch that, but I was functioning in society, you know, managing it to an extent. I don't think it's to do with university, because I don't think university is inherently that much more exhausting or that much more damaging to one's health than school is, like secondary school. But for some reason, this around the time, I think it's partially because like your body changes at that age as well. It just got a lot worse. So in November of last year, I started falling. I started to get so run down and sick that my legs just started to cut out. So like I'd be walking along and my legs would just give and I'd just collapse. And all these other symptoms started coming up, like I couldn't keep any food down, I was really nauseous, it was just the worst. Also, like, I had terrible headaches, I had terrible muscle aches. And then, so for a couple of months it was pretty shaky, and then in March I just ceased to function. I just had to go back to bed full time. I did my exams. I did well in my exams, which was great, but I was too sick to go into college, to go back to college this year. I am just a mess. My body is having quarter life crisis to end all quarter life crises. I laugh, but it's pretty serious. I spent like all of like May, June, and the most of July completely bedridden. And then August was a bit better and September was a bit better. So now I'm at a stage where I can do 2 things a week basically. That can be, I could go to a movie, I could go to visit a friend, I could have friends visit me, I could go in town for a coffee, those kind of things. But I can definitely only do 2 a week and they can only last about 3 hours. And the rest of the time I have to be resting. So the way I see it, this is just one of those it has to get worse before it gets better things. Because when I was kind of managing, I wasn't resting enough to get better. I was consistently doing life and therefore consistently running my body down, and therefore I wasn't ever going into a proper healing state. So now that I'm completely incapable of living my life, now there's an opportunity for healing and I might be able to live a normal, happy, healthy life. That's my goal. So in other words, I'm now currently spending most of my time in this bedroom, which you may have noticed I pimped up a little bit. It looks real good. I'm going to be doing a room tour because this is the nicest bedroom you may have ever seen. Not to brag. But I have to spend like all my time here, so I was like, it's gonna look fly. So now on to the much more fun half of the video, which is what's going to happen. I have recently signed up with this program called the Optimum Health Clinic. I feel like I'm doing like paid promo. I'm absolutely not. I'm paying them a lot of money to fix me. There's London-based clinic and their speciality is ME and fibromyalgia. So it's like a mixture of like Western medicine, like generic like medical medicine, don't know what the correct term for that is, and also like more holistic things. They view all of you as one. So they do like psychological things and they do nutrition and they do like physical therapy. They just do the whole shebang. I mean, I've never experienced this because I'm surrounded by a lot of very educated people. When I was growing up, like my teachers, my family members, my friends, they all knew that ME was a very serious illness and blah blah blah. But a lot of people who have ME are doubted or not believed by their doctors and their friends and their employers and whatever. Because I think, or maybe they are believed, people don't know how bad it is, because everyone has, I'm out of breath. Everyone has like a health problem. I mean, everyone has something wrong with them. Maybe they have like mild eczema, or maybe they have like an allergy to peanuts or something. So a lot of people think that ME is just something like that. It's just something that's inconvenient and it's just one of those little things. But that's not accurate. ME is just your whole life. Like if you have severe ME, it's just your whole life. I'm basically a full-time sick person now. Like my life is a sick person's life, and it's such a weird thing to have to like get your own head around. So I can understand why it's really difficult for other people to get their head around it. But I think a lot of people who have ME and who are doubted in a way that I am not, and I respect that I have privilege here, they find the best way to explain it and the best way to advocate for it and the best way to raise awareness is to talk about how all the negatives and how horrible it is. I think they're doing God's work here. I think they're doing good things. I think they're raising awareness. I think that's brilliant, and like go them. But I don't want to see that. I don't want to see negative things about how shit it is, because like I'm just trying to live my life. I'm just trying to bring some joy into this cruel world, you know? I can find a way to live through these days spent bedridden or spent housebound or spent, you know, very ill, and I can find a way to live through these days in a positive way. So I want to make positive content about recovery, but also just about my life. Like it won't all be illness related, in fact most of it probably won't be, but just because the nature of my life is this is where I'm at, I think it's important that we have some context for what I'm saying and just this video to explain what's going on, so that when I'm making videos and it's all fun and games except why is she in bed all the time, like you'll know. Because I don't see myself as like this sick person withering away. I feel very like enthusiastic and excited and passionate about my goal of recovery and passionate about my goal of becoming a healthy person. And I want these to reflect that, and I want these to be, I want these videos to reflect my excitement and my enthusiasm and my ambition about reaching that goal, as opposed to being about where I am now and how bad it is. Does that make sense? I'm going to show like the stuff that I do, and because it's more fun to watch someone doing stuff and being out in the world, and certainly for me personally, like it would be nice to look back on those kind of videos, but also I want to make videos of me just like in my house. So especially because like I think I am living, like as I said, like I'm living like a sick person's life, and I think it would be very helpful to put positive representations of that online. Yeah, it'll just be a positive, good vibe account of recovery from a pretty shitty illness, among other things.